Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. Let's speak a little bit just on this week's Parashat Vayeira. There's some interesting things that's going on in this Parashat. There's interesting things that are going on in every Parashat, but something in particular, this one that screamed out to me, and I figured we'll speak a little bit about it. A short divrei Torah, if I may. It says in the beginning of the Parashat, it says Vayisa enav Vayeira v'hinei shlosha anashim nitzavi alav. What happened was Abraham just had his Brit Milah, and he had his Brit Milah, and it was his third day after the circumcision. And 3 days after the circumcision is when it gets really, really painful, and that's when you need the most rest. So what was Abraham's occupation? What did he do? He was a chesed. He was a Baal chesed. He just helped everybody. Everybody just come into his tent, come into his house, and he would feed them, and he would just do everything. So God said, listen, he needs some rest right now. So what he did was God made it extremely, extremely hot, and because it was so hot, nobody was outside. And if nobody was outside, so no one went to visit him, hence no one went to visit him, then he wasn't bothered to do chesed for anybody. However, Abraham, his personality was, I need to do chesed. It's not like I want to do chesed, I would like to do chesed. He needed to do chesed. So he sat by his entrance and he's like, please, where are all the people? Why can't I do chesed? So Hashem saw what was happening, so he sent him 3 angels. And 3 angels came to him, and he didn't know they were angels. They looked like Arabs. And they came over to him, and each one had a different task. That's why it says 3 angels, because there was 3 tasks. Now, one of them was going to tell him that, one of them was actually going to report to Sarah that she's going to have a baby. The second one was going to heal Abraham, and help him recover faster. And the third one was to destroy Sodom. However, that's just 3. And it says, why not send 1 to do everything? Explains Rashi, because there's 1 angel does 1 job. 1 angel does not do 2 jobs. However, the question is that I just listed you 3 jobs. However, there was really 4 jobs. There was, what about saving Lot? Saving Lot, 1 angel went to save Lot. So we really have 4 jobs with 3 angels. And that's what we're going to try to figure out, understand how does that work. If 1 angel has 1 job, we know that 4 actions happen. Number 1, Abraham was healed. Number 2, Sarah was told that she's going to have a baby. Number 3, Sodom was destroyed. And number 4 is that, learn how to count, I'm already up to 5. Number 4 is that Lot will be saved. So we have here 4 actions, 3 angels, and yet Rashi tells us in this parasha that it's not possible. 1 angel has 1 job. So how does that work? So Tosfos explains in the Gemara Baba Metzia on page 86b, explains no, it wasn't 3 angels, it wasn't 4 jobs, and that's why you needed 4 angels. Rather, it was 3 jobs that was for 3 angels. They completed it, and now there was a new job. So 1 angel it did its mission, it completed it, and then it went on to do another job. So it really each had 1 mission at 1 particular point in time, and that's what we're going to try to explain now. So it says that we know that Lot was saved because the merit that David HaMelech would come from him. I don't know if you the way that it works with Lot, how was he saved? He was saved. The Chazal tells that he was saved because out of him is going to come Ruth, and out of Ruth comes David, and out of David comes Mashiach, and because of that, in that merit, he was saved. Now, there's a pasuk in Devarim in chapter 23, verse 4. It says, "Lo yavo Amoni u'Moavi b'kahal Hashem," which means somebody that comes from Ammon or Moab are not allowed to go. They're not allowed to convert and go into the Jewish nation. And it doesn't matter. It says even the 10th generation. It doesn't matter. Forever and ever and ever, they're never allowed to come and join the nation. So now the question is Ruth came from Moab? And if she came from Moab, then how is it possible? If the pasuk tells us that she's not allowed to convert, then how is she converting all of a sudden?
Moabi is allowed, not Moab.
Right. So that exactly. So the Chazal said, no. You know what? We like I got to give credit to the feminists. For a girl, she can go and she can convert. A guy, no, I'm sorry, we don't want the men. Now, why is it a woman you are allowed to and a man you are allowed to? If it's no on everybody. If it's yes, it should be yes on everybody. Why are we splitting hairs between a woman and? Okay, good. So it says that.
I learned Ruth, that's why.
Oh, you learned Ruth? That's very nice. I just love the way that this all plugs in together. So maybe we'll be able to teach you something that you didn't learn tonight. Let's see. So it goes, and the Chazal tell us that the way that it works is, first of all, let's give you a little bit of the history of Ammon and Moab. You know where they came from? You know where Ammon and Moab originally came from? There were Lot and his daughter. What happened was that Lot was able to escape from Sodom with his 2 daughters. We know his wife turned into a pillar of salt. There's a whole interesting chazal of what actually happened to her. Is she still around? Did she go into the dead? Did she sink into the ground? Is it now the Dead Sea? There's a lot of different explanations of what was going on with that pillar of salt. But in any case, it was Lot and his 2 daughters. Now, when they escaped, they ran into the cave. Sodom was so wealthy; they had so much money that what they did was they didn't know what to do with the money. So they ended up putting it like getting wine and putting the wines in caves, just to like outside Sodom. So this particular cave that Lot and his daughters were hiding at was a cave that was filled with wine. And the daughters are looking out and they see the entire Sodom, everything's destroyed. And they're thinking, that's it, the world was destroyed. And who's left? It's just us and our father. And they're talking amongst themselves and they're saying, listen, we have to repopulate the world, it's just us. So what they did was that they took the wine, they gave to drink their father a lot of wine, he got drunk, they were with him intimately, and from them they were they conceived and they had a child. One was Ammon, and the other one was Moab. And in fact, it even says, you know why they called it Moab? Literally means me avi, from my father. Literally means it came from my father. So Moab comes from that, from them.
It's very emotional.
Yeah. So. But in their mind, even though what they did was wrong because they didn't need to, the world was still existing. But in their mind, they were doing something for the sake of heaven. They were doing something to make sure the continuation of the world existed.
So did they get a mitzvah or ara?
I don't know if to be honest, I don't know what is that considered. I don't remember it speaking. Maybe it did speak about negative. I'm not sure what it was in that aspect. Now it says that why can't we marry Moab or Ammon? And the reason is that what happened is that the only reason that Moab came from Lot. The only reason that Lot has survived, as we know, is because of Avraham. Avraham, if you know the story from last week's parasha, he went and Lot was captured. He was captured by the 4 kings. Avraham went and risked everything, and he went to save Lot. So in the merit of Avraham, Lot is inexistent. So which means is Abraham, the father of the Jews, saved the father of Moab. Now let's go back, fast forward, many years ahead. After the Jews leave Mitzrayim, they leave Egypt, and they're going and they're traveling and they're passing through the ways of Moab. And they go through the way of Moab, and they tell Moab, they say, listen, give us some bread and water. And Moab says, no. And they said, no, please, can we have some bread and water? And Moab said, no, we're not giving you anything. And they said, from here, says, what we learned not to convert them. Why specifically over here is because that the only reason that you, Moab, are around is because our father saved your father. And now you're being ingrateful. And we know one of the main things of our creation is gratitude. Hakarat Tov. We know that's a sin with it's a das. We know that is a continuation of many sins. The whole idea of Judaism, and one strong aspect of it is being grateful. One of the reasons we do mitzvot is to be grateful to God. So everything is based off gratitude. And Moab is now going the opposite of creation. The whole point of creation was to be grateful and do that. And who you're being ungrateful to? The person that saved you. It says if that's the way you act, we don't want anything to do with you. But now the question is, if that's so, then what's the difference between a man and a woman? The answer is that we fast forward back to our Parashat. There's a law that whatever we paskin in this world, whatever we make a judgment in this world, amen. Whatever we make a judgment in this world, it goes in the same whatever Bezdin Shel Mata paskins, Bezdin Shel Mala also goes by. So the way that it goes is Abraham. So until this point, there was really we're going back to the story about the 3 angels, the 3 missions. There was three angels with 3 missions, and there was no mission yet for having. Welcome. There was no mission yet for having a Adam. There's no mission. Welcome. There's no mission for having Lot saved yet. Why was he not realized to be saved yet? What happened is at this point in time in the story, Lot was supposed to be destroyed. Why? Because no one was supposed to come out of him. Now what happened? Abraham goes and they go into Abraham and they say, "Where's your wife?" And he says, "Yeah, she's in the tent." Right? It's not feministic, a woman belonging in the tent in the kitchen. But the idea is that she was a tzanua. Says Rashi, she was modest. Why was she modest? It's not for a woman to go and be serving men and mingling with men, because there were 3 Arabs there, and the Arabs asked, "Oh, where's your wife?" And she's like, no, she's modest, she's in the kitchen. So by that point, when he just said that the woman is in the house, which means she's not outside, he just paskin. He just made a decree that Avram, that says that where the women belong inside. So now we fast forward, many years forward. We'll go back to the story of Moab, and we say, can we have some bread and water? So who was the responsibility to bring bread and water? Not the woman. The woman belonged inside. Why did they belong inside? Because of modesty. So who was the responsibility? The men. Now that the men didn't do it, now they're going to get punished. But women didn't even have the responsibility to do it because they have to be inside. So now that Abraham comes and he says, "Oh no, she's in the tent." So now the first mission was finished, but now a new mission just came up. We have to save Lot now. Why do we have to save Lot now? Because now Ruth, who comes out from Moab, is going to actually go and David is going to come out from them. Because until then, it wasn't supposed to happen. But all of a sudden now, everything comes into play and everything works out, amazingly. Is that clear? Understood? Okay, very nice. Baruch Hashem.